My name is Patrick Okukwe. I'm a doctoral researcher at the University of Exeter Business School, and I will be your moderator. So let's quickly jump into the main conversation for today, which is to discuss the DAAD scholarships. But before then, could you kindly introduce yourself, tell us who you are, what you do briefly? Thank you.
Hey. Anyway, my name is Emmanuel Yarboi Mensah. I'm a Ghanaian. And in 2020, I had the opportunity to study in Germany under the DAAD Helmut Schmidt Scholarship for Governance and Public Policy in the University of Passau. I'm currently done with my studies and working now also in Germany. Yeah, that's me.
Beautiful. So we have a signature question that we give out to every discussant that comes on this very platform, which is to tell us one of the most significant discovery about yourself between when you started pursuing scholarship until when you backed the prestigious DAAD scholarship to study in Germany and at the University of Passau.
The question again, please.
So this is a signature question we ask every discussant on our program to tell us one very significant discovery, something they discovered about themselves when they started pursuing scholarships until when they backed that very prestigious scholarship that they were yearning for. So what did you discover about yourself in the process or in the journey in between?
Okay, so I would say in between, I noticed one thing that I don't easily give up, and even when I do the applications, I don't feel so nervous or so anxious, and I'm always open to whatever results come because I remember I did other applications also, and I was open to every outcome that comes. And with the DAAD, actually, truth be told, I wasn't really expecting to get it because I already had done other scholarship which didn't come true. So I was like, okay, let me push this one through. Whatever happens, I mean, we still go again. And then yeah, God being so good, I'd say it went through. So one, I would say being determined, being pushing through till you make it. Yeah, that's
yeah. Pushing until you make it, right?
yeah.
Beautiful. And one other striking thing that you said that keeps resonating with me is that whatever that happens, whatever that comes, I mean, we go again, right? So whether fail or win, whatever the outcome is, we go again. That's so profound. Thank you for that. So we would zoom into the DAAD scholarship proper. What is it about this DAAD or DAAD, as it is popularly known, the DAAD scholarship? What is it about this scholarship? I mean, that makes it so prestigious, that makes it so lucrative that people yearn to win this scholarship. What is it about this scholarship? Tell us everything that you know about this DAAD or DAAD scholarship in Germany.
Okay, so DAAD basically is the German Academic Exchange Service. So what they do is they have more or less like a foundation, and they have various scholarships for students in from developing countries. So one notable thing about DAAD is if you win a DAAD scholarship, which we all know, they have scholarship in program scholarships whereby they run it in various countries also. So for instance, for the University of Ghana, they also have a DAAD scholarship program whereby you study a program in the University of Ghana, but you are then being funded by DAAD. They have a program also in other countries. They have a program in UDS also. But one good thing is if you get a scholarship to come to Germany, then as part of the scholarship, you get a language package also, whereby you get to learn the language for 6 months. But that depends on which scholarship you win. So we have the DAAD Helmut Schmidt scholarship. It's basically for governance and good governance and public policy. So with that, it's limited to certain schools and certain programs. Then they have the DAAD Airport Scholarship, which is very open. With that one is very open. There are so many schools that does it. But with the Helmut Schmidt, every year it's just for 8 schools. But with the airports, sometimes you have about 15 to 16 schools. They have the DAAD Leadership for Africa Scholarship, which with that one you only get a funding if you get admission with from a school here in Germany. So that one is also not limited to which school. You only have to get the admission and then you are good to go. So with the Helmut Schmidt, you get to spend like 6 months in Berlin for your language studies because the scholarship actually starts in October of the next year you apply. So if you should apply this year, the scholarship begins October next year. So if you should win the Helmut Schmidt, then that means you come to Berlin in April next year to start the language till the end of September before you move to your city whereby you are going to study. But with the airports, you get only 2 months of that. So with the airports, you get 2 months of the language, but that will be closer to the city where you will be studying. So you don't have to move. You don't have to switch cities because just 2 months going to a different city. And also, but with the Leadership for Africa, it depends on when your program is starting, but mostly most of them have also just 2 months of the language program.
Mm.
And with this, your flight ticket is being refunded to you. You get a research allowance. And whilst in the language school, your rent is being paid for you, and then you get monthly stipends. And they also pay your insurance also, like your insurance for you. Then I'd say you are also yeah, we also have a visa fee waiver, whereby you don't need to pay for the visa application fee. And unlike other students who do not have the DAAD scholarship, who would have to join maybe long queues or have to search for appointments, as a DAAD scholarship holder, you're always considered as a category A applicant, visa applicant, and then you get early early application dates and your visa is processed within a week just because you are a scholarship holder. So I'd say that's one of the prestigious things that comes with the DAAD scholarship.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. So you actually walked us through the different categories of scholarships that are confounded within the DAAD scholarship, the DAAD scholarship. Beautiful.
Yeah.
So you talked about airports, you talked about Helmut Schmidt, and then others. Now you kept on emphasizing the fact that you get some training for the Dutch language, right? And all that. My cherished listeners would like to know if studying in that language or being taught to know that language means that you would have to study in that language. Is that the case? Can you demystify this misconception out there for us?
Okay, so there are some schools. I think currently it's just one school. The course is basically taught in in the German language. So for that one, you need the language. You need to get to a particular level, and then you would even have to write the German language exams before your scholarship is moved forward. That's after the training. But for the other schools, you don't necessarily need the language. But since you be coming to live in a community whereby this is the language they speak or this is what they speak, it's best you get to learn the language, so you'll be able to move around. You'll be able to go to maybe the city authorities to also try and then integrate very well in the society. So that's the main purpose of studying the language. And mostly they see offering the language as a bonus to your scholarship, because maybe, yeah, it's your course is going to be in English, but I mean, if you tell someone I studied in Germany but I don't speak German, it looks a bit weird, because studying for 2 years and then you can't even say how are you or what is your name or something. Then so it is, but it's mandatory though, even though your course is not going to be in German.
Beautiful. So it is how you summarized everything that sits well with me, and thanks for that. So just so that people would know that um learning the language is actually free of charge, and it is just to help you to integrate beautifully into the community where you would be studying, not necessarily for you to not necessarily because you'll be studying in debt or you'll be taught in debt. That is not the prime motive. Very good for that. Thank you very much for that clarification. So let's move on to the next question. So what is the eligibility requirement for this very scholarship? What do you need to, what criteria do you need to meet for admission into this very scholarship?
I think if I should talk using the Ghanaian system, you need, I'd say good academic qualification. This one. You also need to get a CV which doesn't have like gaps in it. So for the DAAD scholarship, how they review the CV is every experience you have acquired is important.
Mhm.
So even if you were doing a part-time teaching somewhere, you still need to put that in your CV, because if there's a space between your experience years in your CV, they would ask you to explain. So first you need a CV which doesn't have gaps in it. You need to have good academic qualifications. And your motivational letter, one thing should be good. Like it should be, I don't know how to say good, but it should be well written. It should fit into the program, and it should also meet with the program objectives. But aside that, you don't necessarily have to be a first class student, but I think the minimum you could go could be a second upper, which is assured. You don't necessarily, for first class, you don't necessarily have to be a first class student. Basically, it's your motivational letter, how your CV looks, and because they pay much attention to your work experience also.
Good. So talking about working experience, what number of years? What's the minimum number of years in terms of working experience do you need in order to be eligible and be a person of or a candidate of good standing to be able to back this very prestigious DAAD scholarship to study in Germany?
Okay, it differs from the schools. Some schools states clearly that you need like 2 years working experience.
Mhm.
Other schools do not really state it, but I think a minimum of 1 year should be fine. And also, if maybe in between your education, you have had some internships and all, they all count as working experience also.
Yeah, so that was what I wanted to ask you. So should this very experience be experience with such like big firms like KPMG, like Deloitte, like I mean World Economic Forum? Should it be with big companies or even volunteering experiences, like I mean doing little community actions, small I mean voluntary experiences that you get within your community? Are all these experiences relevant enough to give you that or add up to be equivalent to the working experience that they expect from you?
if it doesn't necessarily matter with the company or with the firm. It could even be your own initiative. It could even be something you are even working on. Maybe you have your own foundation whereby you put people together, you organize cleanup exercises, you do community development. So it's not necessarily with a very big firm, but something you've done, because I think there is an interview part whereby they would ask you all the experiences on your CV, and then you would have to be able to tell them how these experiences have helped you develop, like how it has also increased your passion, or how it is also pushing you to apply for the scholarship. So not necessarily from a big firm, but the voluntary, mostly the voluntary experiences are more important, I would say. They are more valuable as compared to maybe working in a big firm and all that, because they look at all this small, maybe you volunteered in a community, you volunteered in a village for some months. It's all important, yeah.
Thank you for clarifying that. So before we move on with our interview, I would like to our conversation. Of course, it's not an interview, but does securing admissions means that you have backed the scholarship? I want to understand that.
Yeah.
You apply, are there two separate application process that you apply for admissions and you apply for the scholarship, or you apply for the scholarship and you apply for the admission, or you do both of them together, or it's just one single application that you have to do?
Okay, so I would start with the Leadership for Africa. With the Leadership for Africa, you'd have to apply for the scholarship first. If you apply for the scholarship, then you would apply for a school. But some people do it simultaneously. They decide to. So you just apply for the school and then you apply for the scholarship. So once you get admission from the school, just send it to the scholarship agency that, yes, I have received and then they will then start doing the processing of your award letter. But with the Helmut Schmidt, it comes in two phases, whereby you first apply to the school. But in applying to the school, there's a process where normal students would apply, like students who are applying without scholarship. There's a normal process they go through. But if you want a scholarship, then you use the DAAD process in the school. So first you apply through the school's portal, and then the school would have to nominate you for the scholarship. So once the school nominates you, then you go for an interview with the school, because all these schools have various scholarship representative boards there. So they interview you. After the interview, if you are successful, then now DAAD comes and says, yes, we are glad to have you, and then we would want you to do the next stage, which is the same document you use in applying for the school. You have to upload the same document to the DAAD portal, and then that's where they do their final decision. So with the leadership, I think it's all in two phases. But once you get a nomination, it's not any difficult issue anymore. And even the airports also goes through the same stage as the Helmut Schmidt. So first you apply to be nominated by the school, and then you upload the documents to DAAD for the scholarship.
Yeah, so you keep mentioning EPOS, but we don't know what EPOS is. So if you could tell us what EPOS stands for, what goes into EPOS? Is it a program? What is it like?
DAAD EPOS is also a program. I've forgotten the
It's
full name.
environmental policy something.
Yeah, it's not only limited to the environmental policy, but it's basically for development related programs. So programs that are related to maybe development studies, maybe sustainability development, and all those studies. They even have development economics. For the airports, it's basically for development related programs, postgraduate programs, not just environment. So sometimes I think they have a whole catalog which is you can get about 400 different programs being offered by just under the airports. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much for that clarification. So, because that also would have led to my next questions to understand what kind of programs does the DAAD fund? What kind of specific programs? Is it in science alone? Is it in the health sciences? Is it in social sciences? Or it's a mix of all these areas?
It's a mixture of all the areas. They have programs for the only programs which it's hard to get scholarships from DAAD are the IT related programs. But you could get programs for agriculture engineering, mechanical engineering. They have all it's a mixture of all that, but the only ones you don't get are the IT related ones. It's hard to come by because every year they come out with new programs.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you are lucky and it's something you want to do, then you just push it in. But the ones which are more is the development related programs.
Okay. Thank you very much. So let's now move on to the essay, because you also mentioned that it is one of the major parts that leads you to, or that helps you to secure the prestigious DAAD scholarship to study in Germany. So what does this essay part involve? What goes into the essay part? What are the prompts? What is it like?
Okay, so I think the essay basically is like it's more or less like how you write. It starts with how you write more or less like a problem statement. So first you would have to let them know why you think why you want to do this program. Then it continues with you, what you have done before, what you are doing, and how that one meets like the program, how it has a, how do I say it, how that one relates to the program you want to do. Then first, you also have to be able to link your personal objectives, what you want to achieve, to the program's objectives. So usually what I advise most students to do is don't just write a motivational letter. First, go to the Helmut Schmidt, like the scholarship, read about the scholarship, what the scholarship aims to achieve. Go to the school's page, read about the program you want to offer. Then you try to write your motivational letter in that regard. Like you try to make sure your motivational letter meets that lane. Because if you write something totally different, then it looks like you don't really know what you are applying for. So it's about you writing your objectives, and then later, I think in the end, you try to tell them how the program is going to help you to achieve your objectives, and maybe what you want to do maybe in 5 years and 6 years. It's not really necessary, but I think it would be nice if you're able to push something like that there to just link it. And yeah.
Beautiful. Thanks for that. In how many words is this essay supposed to be captured in? And is it just a single essay that you're writing, just one, or there are different categories of essays that you have to write in most scholarships that that you have to write like 4 different essays? Is it just one essay? And if it is just one, what's the length of these very essay, or it's open for you to write up to when you are satisfied?
I think it's just one essay. You just write either the motivational letter or statement of purpose, as people call it. It's just one, and it's, I think, 500 words. So basically a two-page doc based on the font size you are using, but 500 words is enough.
Right. Thanks for that clarification. So we would move on to the next question. So what significant things do you think you did that put you in the right position to win this very prestigious DAAD scholarship to study at the University of Passau? If you can give us three. Significant you think you did.
First, following instructions. Because if they say they need a CV of 2 pages, you only have to give them a CV of 2 pages. So I would say, yeah, following instructions.
I mean, you can also go as far as telling us what you did right also in the in your essay and all that, because yeah, those are also very good elements or prompters that's helped you to back the scholarship. So go ahead to emphasize.
Yeah, I think with the essay, it actually took a lot of time in putting the essay together, whereby you write, you give it to a senior colleague to proofread it. And one thing I say is, if you really want to win a scholarship, you should be open for corrections. So I send it to a senior colleague. He corrects. Sometimes it's annoying, but I mean, he is up there. So whatever he says, he already knows what is good. So if he says change this, you change it. And one thing I would say is you should also be willing to do it on your own. Like, don't expect someone to do it for you. So first I decided to start by putting my own essay together, because this thing of write for me, because it's your personal essay. So if you ask me to write your personal essay for you, I don't know you. But if you write it first and then you push it to the person, then it's easier for the person to review. Sometimes the person might give you a sample. You don't have to maybe copy that sample, but rather try and then see how best you can also get something out of that. So first, following instruction, to being open for corrections. And then three, I'll say staying positive.
Fab. So yeah, of course. So these three things helped you to back the scholarship. One is one which you said is to
Follow
follow
instructions.
instructions. Yeah, follow instructions. And then two, I'm listening. Just to
Two is
everybody.
be open for correction.
Send out your work out to someone to look at it for you. You shouldn't necessarily be someone who is above you or anything. It could be anybody who can use a very good eye to look through for you, just so that you have some feedback. And then he's saying that be open to feedback, and then make sure that you don't feel criticized. You don't feel that your intelligence is being downplayed or you are being underestimated, but rather being open-minded about whatever feedback you are being given, and using or leveraging that feedback to improve the quality of your essays. And then finally,
stay positive. And one thing I can also say is don't rush your applications. So I'd say from the one I applied for, Helmut Schmidt has it opens 1st of June and ends 31st of July. So you have like this 2 months period. So I'd say from the word go, just start putting your application documents together. Because if you wait till the last minute, you end up forcing the application, and then instead of maybe using about a week taking your time for someone to really go through your essay for you, you just use a day and then you just push everything in. So I would say, yeah, don't rush the applications. Don't be in a hurry to start, because there's nothing like first come, first serve. They wait for all the application documents before they go through it.
Yeah, so that's also very profound, and I think I should emphasize that much as someone who wants several scholarships. You need to prepare in advance. You need really to prepare in advance, so you can read through put it down, go to bed, wake up, come look at it again. So that back and forth will be giving you different ideas, different perspective as to where you can move with your essays and all that. And that is actually very important. For example, if you move to me last minute, 2 days to the deadline, you need to look at this for me before. I will not look at it for you because I don't have that time. I'm a very busy person, right? So I may not have that time to help you. So work in advance, start already. Don't wait for the opening of the scholarship. You know what you want. You know the program that are likely to come. Start putting everything together, your CV, give it out to people to look at it for you. So that continuous kind of improvement in your essays, your CVs, and all that ahead of time gives you ample time to develop your application suite to make you a very good competitor for the prestigious DAAD scholarship.
And
the other scholarship alike. Sorry, go ahead.
And just as you mentioned, the CV with the DAAD scholarship, they have a specific CV they want, which is the Europass. And with that one, it always comes with a link attached to it. I know there are people who would say, I already have a CV, I want to push that one in. But I'd say it's better if you follow the format they're asking you to use and never try using the same CV for so many applications. Sometimes you need to touch it a bit, like tweak it a bit to fit what you really want to do. I wouldn't say you should lie in your CV, but sometimes you just try to rebrand the way the CV looks, just try to put in certain things and yeah.
Yeah, so I think what Emmanuel is trying to say over here is to be more use action words, right? Use strong words to describe what you have done, right? At times you underplay what your experiences are. So use words that really put out what you have done as very, very assertive. Do you understand? Yes, I think it is very, very important. I mean, no experience is more experience. And we have said this times without number on this very same channel. So even if it is cleaning of gutters, that is experience. It depends on how you articulate that experience to look beautiful and convincing, to be able to fit into the program that you want to read and the scholarship that you want to be considered for. Very, very important. So Mr. Michael, we would move on to the next question that focuses on what does a winning scholarship essay look like? So if you see a scholarship essay that is promising, what are the things that you expect to see in that essay? And we'll be very happy if you can be very detailed on this for us.
I would expect to see, the first thing I would look at is how the person writes the introduction of the essay. What is the person really talking about? What's the person trying to say here? Like, then two, how is the person describing himself? What is the person trying to say he or she has done before? There are people who try to put all their experiences in the essay. I don't think it's really necessary. So if I see it matched just with what you've done before, and then you have all your experiences there, but not really talking about what the scholarship is about. So you should have the scholarship objective in there, how that scholarship objective is going to also help you achieve your objectives. And two, there's one thing we say, why do you think this scholarship is a fit for you? And also even the school you are choosing. Why do you think the school is best for you? So if I should see you writing all these things, why the school is good for you, then I know you've actually read wide about this scholarship. But if it lacks the objective, if I don't find the objectives of the scholarship in there, I don't find you yourself what you really want to achieve with this scholarship, or how this scholarship can help you achieve what you want to achieve, then maybe I ask you to rewrite it again. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for that huge pot of knowledge that you are spilling over here. Thank you so much. We are really, really grateful. Okay, so we'll move on to the next. but before the one that is on my list here, I would want to ask you, what did you put in your essays that you think really contributed significantly or invaluably to securing the scholarship? So what did you do with regards to your essay that you think contributed invaluably or immeasurably or immensely to bagging the prestigious DAAD scholarship to study for free in Germany?
I would say I think my essay actually started with a problem I've identified. And then with that, it led on to the reason why, maybe because of this problem, that's why I would really want to study here. Then I continued by saying like who I am, like what I have done, and how what I have done matches to the program I want to do, like the continuation of my program. So for instance, I attended UDS. I've come in contact with development problems. So I tried to use that channel. And then going down, I wrote more about how the program is going to help increase my knowledge, how it's going to build up, or how it's going to add up to the knowledge I already have, and also how the research and what do I say, the research potentials of the university is also going to help me to also improve upon my research ability, as well as also build my future career. I won't be able to remind me all, but yeah, basically I would say I just tried to put my experiences into the program's objectives, and then also try to match my goals to the program goals. Yeah, I had about 2 different people who reviewed them for me, where they found out that it wasn't good. They just said, just do it this way or do it this way. Some even sent me samples of how DS looked like. So I just look at it and I realize, oh, okay, then I think I can do it better. So
Phenomenal. Thank you so much. So I was taking notes of all the amazing stuff that you were saying, which I would also emphasize, because those are key to putting together a very cohesive, solid, and a promising, award-winning scholarship essay. So first and foremost, Mr. Michael says that you need to be able to identify a problem. So you cannot apply for a scholarship if you have not been able to identify a problem. Every scholarship, whether DAAD or whatever it is, you need to be able to identify either a social problem, an economic problem, an environmental problem. There should be a problem that you have identified. And then secondly, from what Mr. Yarboi Mensah says, is that you need to be able to weave the problem you have identified into the expectation of the program and the scholarship. You should be able to connect them, right? And then following that, you need to be able to articulate clearly who you are, what makes you a candidate that should be considered for this very scholarship and admission. And then you move on to also highlight how the program is going to increase your knowledge to be able to address that social or environmental or economic issue. Very important. And then you also go ahead to highlight the research potential of the university. If there are professors there that are doing some amazing stuff that you can connect with to acquire some relevant skills to address these issues, either through research or whatever it is, these elements are essential and very good ingredients to help you back the prestigious DAAD scholarship to study for free in Germany. Of course, we are not declaring that these are the only things that you need to do, However, these are essential components of an award-winning scholarship essay. Good. So we'll move on to the next few questions. So please, if you have questions, you can also put that in the comment section, and we are happy to read it out and get it answered for you. So our next question on my list is that, does the recommendation letter play, or a recommendation letter play a role in securing the scholarship? What role? Is it really a significant role in securing the scholarship, or it doesn't?
I think it does, and it does because the recommendation letter is coming from, if you are still a student, then it comes, or if maybe you just finished school, sometimes it comes from your professors. But if you are working, sometimes this recommendation letter comes from the person you are working with. So it's like someone trying to testify give a testimony of your abilities, how good you are, and all that. And they take very good notes, or they really like this testimonies, like references from people trying to reference you of how good you can be, what you can do, and all that. So it plays a very good role.
So thank you very much. So we now know that it plays a huge role in securing the scholarship. So does who recommends you really matter for this DAAD scholarship, or anybody? Probably a research assistant or a teaching assistant somewhere, or you need to have a professor who is recommending. Does the status of who is recommending you really matter? That is one. And then two, do you need only professional recommendations, or you need academic recommendation, or you need a mix of the two? And how many recommendation letters are you supposed to provide for this very scholarship?
Okay, so with who, it's supposed to be someone who has had an academic or professional relationship with you. And with the number of the recommenders, it differs from the schools. So for my own school, they needed just one recommendation. And I did my service in the University of Ghana. So I took it from a professor in the University of Ghana, even though I attended UDS, and it was perfect. Other schools also require two. I think the most they require three, which two would have to come from your professors, and then one from where you are working currently.
Beautiful. Okay, so now could you, so you talked about interviews, right? That there's going to be interviews for this very scholarship. So how does this interview looks like? I mean, what should you expect? At what point do you get an interview? And what are the expectations from the interview panel? What are some of the questions they ask? And yeah, if you could tell us more about this very interview that you would have to answer to after you've submitted your application and you've been probably shortlisted.
Okay, so if you are shortlisted, they then invite you for the interview, which is online. And the questions are basically about you. So whatever you wrote, that's why I said it's good you write your motivational letter yourself. So whatever you wrote in your motivational letter, you get questioned about it. Whatever experience you have in your CV, they can randomly pick a particular work you did, maybe, but that's what is of interest to them, and then ask you, how did this work help you? How were you able to fare? What did you do in this work? Which experience did you gain, and all that? So for the interview, you don't really have a direct focus. They just take based on what you have written. So if you are taking it from somebody, if someone did it for you, then it will be very hard for you to answer the interview questions. So it's basically about you. Sometimes they try to ask you more about why you want to do the program. Sometimes when there's a gap in your CV, maybe there's 2-3 months gap in an experience, they try to ask you why why were you not working, or what happened? Why were you home or something? Then you try to, but it's not necessarily like questions, huge questions about the program. No, it's all about you. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So on this note, Mr. Michael Yarboi Mensah says that it is all about you for the interview. So prepare enough. Make sure you are the one writing your essays, so you know what's in your essay. Then when questions come directly from your essays, you are able to coherently respond to them. Good. So Michael, could you provide three profound advice or counsel that you would give to scholarship prospective applicants of this very scholarship, the DAAD or DAAD scholarship? What would be your three key advice that you would give to these people?
So for me, I think we've already mentioned some of it. Prepare ahead of time. Try to get to know the programs you want to do. Try to get to know the schools very well. Then two, in putting up your essay, try to make people also read through your essay, because, and also don't just write an essay and submit it, because you might write something today, you wake up the next day and then you would have different ideas about it. So try to let other people read through your essays for you. And one thing I always is, there are so many people applying for the same thing. You not getting in doesn't mean you are not qualified. If it doesn't work this time, don't give up. It's not based on your qualification or something. Just rebrand yourself and then go again.
Rebrand yourself and go again. Very, very important. Yeah, because it actually ties into my own story when I started applying from 2017, when I never backed any scholarship through to 2018, 2019. And then in 2020, 2019, 2020, I backed a lot of fully funded scholarships. So it's about continuous learning through the process, right? And then continuous rebranding, as Michael said. And then that is what is going to fetch you the scholarship. Don't give up. When you lose it, we go again another time. Thank you very much for that profound counsel. So our next question, which is, what is it like studying at the University of Passau?
Fun.
Please go deeper. We want to know more.
Yeah, I mean, Passau is a small town, I would say.
Mm.
It's on the borders of Austria. It's between Germany and then Austria. And because it's small, we have lots of international students come. I don't know whether it's because of the number, but we have lots of international students coming in. So sometimes, even though the language needs to be something you have learned, with the presence of the international students, you are free to use English, and it's really a nice place. So most Erasmus students always want to come to Passau.
Mm.
Yeah, and the professors are really cool. Like, they allow you to bring in your own ideas. Even if you are wrong, they try to make you explain yourself to see if maybe they don't understand you.
Mm.
Yeah, and yeah, so it's a really nice place to study. You have good professors who allow you to bring in your own initiatives. You have more, for me, I had more seminars, I had more presentations than exams.
Mm.
Yeah, so I think I only wrote exams for my language courses, but for the other courses, I had presentations. You do poster presentation, you write 10 papers, and you write 10 papers for all the papers, all the courses you are doing. So it's really open, and it's not like you being asked what is this or what is that, but you bring in your own ideas and all that.
Mm. interesting. So it sounds more like a flexible institution that allows you to explore, build your presentation skills and all that, not like come and sit down in classroom and be writing exams and all that. They give you that flexibility. They give you assignments and all that.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
and there are a wide range of courses to choose from. Sometimes you can choose courses from different universities. I did two courses from different universities. Then you only have to transfer the grade to your university. So it's really much more open. Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. Good to know. So finally, I would want to know if it is actually true that people can study in Germany for free aside the DAAD scholarship. There is this kind of thing running around that studies in Germany is actually for free. Is that the case? One. And yeah, I mean, let's touch on that and then we could now conclude.
I think tuition in most German public universities are free. The private universities, you have to pay the fees, but the public universities are free. You only pay a semester fee, which is, I think, the highest school that pay the highest amount the school pays now is 365 euros. Some schools pay way lower, but with this semester fee, you get your bus and train ticket from it. You get your printing if you want to print something in the university and all that. So it covers, it's more or less like the way we pay SRCDUs. But this one has your bus tickets and all that's in there. That yeah, you only have to show that you'll be able to take care of yourself with either the block account or a formal obligation. Then yeah, good to go.
How much do you have to put in a blocked account if you have that information or you know?
I think you need about 11,000 to 12,000 euros. Yeah, but I mean it's your own money. So once you get to Germany, you open a bank account and then every month they transfer, I think, 961 euros also to you, so the money gets finished in your account.
Okay, but then once you are in, you have this blocked account and all that. Are there other internal scholarships that you could also apply for within these universities that could support you further?
Yeah, even DAAD has internal scholarships, but I think the highest you could get is like 400 euros every month.
Okay.
They usually call it the canteen food scholarship or something. So it's just for your living expenses and all that.
Okay. Okay. Beautiful. Thank you very, 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 very much. We are really grateful for your time, for the insights you've put across here on this very channel. And as I always say, people that come on this very channel present amazingly, provide solid advice to people that come across this come across my video, and that is really, really well appreciated. I'm so grateful to you and to everyone that is viewing today or would come across this video on YouTube. Thank you so much. We really, really are rooting for you and are looking forward to having you also on this very channel to share how you bagged that prestigious scholarship. Until then, bye.